What is something super important that is on the verge of happening? For some positivity, we're on the verge of having a net positive increase in trees rather than decrease. Apparently we're already at or near a net zero. Doesn't mean you should stop caring though. As Wi-Fi covers more and more of the country, phone companies will lose their ability to charge exorbitant prices because telephony will be available everywhere. Magic Jack will be all you need, all calls and texts running through the internet. America is currently in the second Gilded Age and there is no guarantee that a Teddy Roosevelt-esque candidate is going to be president in 2020. A huge revamp in how we recycle. We used to send everything to China but they stopped taking our crap. China is focusing on China's trash and we tried to do the same, but many companies are getting very picky with what they will collect. It's going to come down to some sort of compromise between consumer and producer to make less waste in general. Right now very little of what we put in recycling bins is recycled. Edit. Check out what Taiwan does to force citizens to recycle. Fusion energy. Every week a new result comes out where the plasma has been kept stable longer, at higher temperature, etc. With the international collaboration on building first prototypes of positive net energy fusion reactors, we will change the world overnight. Free energy, very little pollution, basically forever. Edit. This seems to be getting some traction. I'll put a few things I found interesting here, since I cannot keep replying since I really have to get some work done today as well. Titanic 2 setting sail. If you take the time and look at everything from a meta perspective, all this stuff like automation, the student loan bubble, and the boomer mass retirement are all going to happen within the next 30 to 40 years. All these issues will be happening while the biggest issue of them all, the environment, will be going to crap. So I think something big is going to happen because of all of it. Whether that's a cultural revolution that leads to an actual change in how we think as a species for the betterment of mankind, or if it's just a bunch of nukes, who knows? Especially once you take politics, religion, and international relations in all of their inherent unpredictability into account. Making organs from stem cells. Hurry up already, science. I need a kidney. Edit. Thank you all for the kind words and offers to donate your kidney. If you are seriously considering being a donor, please Google how to become a living donor. It is the current best case scenario for those in need. My function is around 18%, so there are others out there who have a greater need. A financial bubble on student loans that'll lead to a recession and a complete restructuring of the way student loans are given out. I wouldn't know where to start, but do some research on Zimbabwe if you are interested. Friend of mine moved to South Africa from Zim, had over 100 farm animals. She shot and killed all of them because guerrilla fighters are going around Zimbabwe brutally killing and torturing animals and people, and they were a day away from her farm. She wanted to give her animals a peaceful death. I'm teaching my cat how to high five. Edit. Whoa, this blew up. Silver and gold. He's doing really well. He was getting the hang of it at the end of about 5 minutes of training. I've clicker trained him before to touch his nose to a wand, so he knows that the clicker is the good boy noise TM and he'll get a treat. It helps that he's super food motivated. Images of the boy. Sorry they're a bit blurry, I was trying to be paparazzi, do the clicker, and dispense treats at the same time. His name is Leo and he knows that he's a good boy, smiley face. Edit 2, it's more of a low 5 at the moment, but he's only had 4 training sessions. Within a decade or so there will be an explosion in the number of people in their 50s and 60s that require a place in the residential nursing care home. If you look at the age of the population in care homes at present, they are mostly very elderly people that in their youth and middle age had active jobs or lived active lives without even really trying. They walked to the store, walked to work or cycled, and the housewives were active in their day-to-day activities, not to mention the amount of people in manual labor. They also ate fairly healthy diets and in the main were not obese. Today many people sit at a desk all day and eat rubbish. The vast majority do not keep themselves active or do any kind of resistance and cardio workouts to balance that. Obesity rates are such that we have people in their mid-40s that find it difficult to mobilize themselves and have pain when walking or getting out of a chair. I was speaking to an orthopedic surgeon a while ago about this issue, connected to my work, and his view was that a lot of people are focusing on diabetes as the ticking time bomb health-wise, when in reality the amount of health and mobility issues caused by obesity will hit just as hard. So within a decade or two we will see the youngest population ever requiring nursing care due to immobility. A large number of Americans are falling behind on their subprime car loans, which could lead to another '08 economic collapse. Pakistan and India are probably on the verge of war. Breakthroughs in graphene cells and batteries. Right now we're stuck with lithium because graphene doesn't store large capacities of power very long, but once we're through that hurdle, it'll be no exaggeration to say you'll have smartphones that charge from 0 to full in a matter of seconds, electric cars which will almost never have to stop for charge because the charge pads on roads will keep them topped off, and in general the stagnation of high-end tech will end, since for a lot of things like processors, the main thing currently holding us back is the amount of energy they can draw. Edit. RIP inbox. Fully self-driving cars. They will be a huge convenience and ease traffic congestion, but will put millions of people out of work. Edit. This is in context of people who drive for a living, truckers, UPS/FedEx and such. Jobs with fairly low skill and decent incomes that will be replaced by self-driving cars. Recession time. Brexit. Not the vote, but the actual action of Britain leaving the EU. The deadline is on March 29th, and there is currently no plan to solve the trade issues and border disputes that were solved by Britain being in the EU. The first human corneas have been 3D printed by scientists. They cannot be used for human eyes yet, but in the future, the technique could be used to ensure an unlimited supply of corneas required for cornea transplants. Not a global thing, but I haven't walked in over half a year, due to injury, and I get to start trying to walk tomorrow. So that's super important for me. Update. It went great. It was kinda painful, but I was able to hobble around like a champ, in my opinion. The doc says keep the amount that I try walking per day to a minimum, but that I should be back up in about no time. Thanks for the silvers and golds, everyone. I've never gotten those before. I live in developing country. The glut of fake news wreaks havoc in day-to-day life, wherein not-so-educated people are not at all able to differentiate them, and they treat WhatsApp forwards as absolute truth. These fake news are impacting people on sensitive issues such as religion. If not controlled, these would have devastating consequences. IMO. Edit 1. People are asking about what it all has to do with religion. Some power groups use social media channels to spread false news about wrongdoings of other groups to incite hatred against particular religions and radicalize people, leading to communal riots. This has all become part of vote bank politics. Edit 2. This is my first answer to cross 1K upvotes. Thank you, kind stranger, for the Reddit gold. Smiley face. Malaria vaccine. There are dozens of promising candidates in early trials right now, and hopefully at least one will be highly effective and affordable. This will be not only a huge game changer for eliminating malaria and improving the lives of hundreds of millions of people, but it will also mark a huge scientific success as the first vaccine against a complicated parasitic organism. Hopefully we will gain key insights from this process to be able to develop new vaccines for other complex organisms, such as HIV, TB, and influenza. Also, if you are an anti-vaxxer, fuck you. We're in the midst of a fourth industrial revolution, automation. This revolution will basically see the near-complete removal of human muscle from most of the economy. Trades, professions, services, and knowledge work should be okay, but manufacturing jobs will be hit hard. We're going to have to figure out what to do with a significant portion of the population that can no longer find productive work. The star Betelgeuse is likely to go supernova during this century. To understand how important this is, it will be the first Milky Way supernova since 1861, and by far the brightest supernova in recorded human history. Betelgeuse is very close by, a supergiant, ca 1000x the Sun, and already one of the brightest stars in the night sky. When it explodes, it's likely going to be brighter than the full moon for many months. Visible even during daytime. Between 1993 and 2009 it got 16% smaller, collapsing at a rate of 213 m/s, and the rate is increasing. Children dressing up for their homecoming dance, and the theme is 2000s. Came to this thread to see the many advancements in technology. Left afraid of a nuclear apocalypse or death by super virus. I'm officially terrified. Thank you. Privacy is disappearing, and there's little to no way to save it. Cameras, sensors, etc. are everywhere, and software is mining the data for information on us. The software is ever improving and the sensor coverage is ever increasing. I feel like we are going to have a new type of cable company situation going on. One of the things that made Netflix great was you were able to watch so many different shows and movies, but many of those are leaving now. TV companies like CBS and Disney would rather have their shows on their own paid service app instead of on Netflix, where they only get a piece of the cut. Netflix even knows this, which is why they are pushing their original content so much. What's going to happen is that if we are to enjoy all the shows we would like to, we are going to have to pay for multiple streaming services, basically how it was paying for cable channels. The plummeting of the Chinese labor market. China produces all things for the entire Western world. Due to the one-child policy, China has begun to put older people on pensions. From before that policy, the workforce is rapidly changing generations. There is not enough workforce available in the entire country of China and all neighboring countries of China. There is a huge shortage of people being able to work in the production halls of the world. This will have huge unknown effects upon the world as we know it today. It is like climate, only with a factor of 10,000, and it will happen between right now and 10 years after. Like, comment, subscribe, share, download, embed, save, dab, yeet. Have a great day, fan.